So, today's factorization, factorization um, by grouping. The first type of factorization I'm going to run through today because we already did highest common factor, right? Um, so you usually group terms and factorize via grouping when you have four terms in the expression, right? Um, for example, so grouping usually when there are four terms. For example, let's look at this example here. AX plus BX plus AY plus BY. And you have to factorize this via grouping. What does by grouping mean? It means you have to group the first two terms and then group the last two terms. So then you're looking at the first two terms. What is common there? We can see the letter X is common. So you take out the letter X. Because X is connected to A and X is connected to B, you just focus on the first two letters, well, the first two terms. That's why I underline the first two terms together. Because X is common, you open your bracket. You say the first term, which is AX, divided by the highest common factor you took out, which is X. Put back your plus sign, you divide the second term, which is BX, by the highest common factor you took out, which is X. Close bracket. Now, eventually, you'll be able to do this. What I'm doing here in brackets, you'll be able to do that mentally in your head without having to write in that in the bracket, right? Put your plus sign that you had in front of AY, and what is common between AY and BY? The letter Y is common. So now you open your bracket, you divide the AY by the letter Y, and put your plus sign, the BY divided by the letter Y that you took out. So now you're going to write back X. If you have AX divided by X, the X cancel off, you will get A. Put your plus sign. Bx divided by x, the x cancel off, you will get b, close bracket. Put your plus y, open bracket. Ay divided by y, the y cancel off, you will remain with a. For your plus sign. By divided by y, you cancel off the y, you will remain with b. So now you're going to have a plus b and x plus y. And that is our answer there when you factorize via grouping. Now, one example will not ensure that you understand this. You have to do more than one example. So let's look at another example here. Let's say you have 3g minus 3t, and well, the form 3 fours, or you would be familiar with these questions, plus 2mg minus 2mt. So we're going to factorize via grouping. So you group the first two terms, you group the last two terms. So what is common between 3g and negative 3t? You take out the number 3, open bracket. Yes, divide the first term, which is 3g, by the number 3. Put your minus sign, you're going to say 3t now, divided by the number 3 that you took out in front of the bracket. Put back your plus sign. What is common between 2mg and 2mt? Well, the 2m is common, open bracket. 2mg divided by the 2m, and put your minus sign, 2mt now, divided by 2m. So now the next step is to simplify this. So you write back 3, open bracket. 3g divided by 3, the 3 cancel off, you remain with g. For your minus sign. 3t divided by 3, the 3 cancel off, you remain with t. Close bracket. For your plus sign, you put back 2m, open bracket. 2mg divided by 2m, 2 cancel, m cancel, you remain with g. For your minus sign. 2mt divided by 2m, 2 cancel off, m cancel off, remain with t. So you now open in the bracket, you're taking out the g minus t, and you're going to put the 3 plus 2m in the next bracket, and that is our answer there. So I'm gonna run through another example here, and then I'll give all you some to try. So example, you have 2p minus 2q minus p squared plus pq. I've done similar questions just now, right? So you group them. You always group the first two and then the last two. This is the second step. You always group them. Then I look for what is common between 2p and negative 2q. Well, the number 2 is common, so you take a positive 2. Nothing else, so you open bracket. You say 2p divided by 2 for your minus sign 2q divided by 2, close bracket. For your minus sign that you had in front of p squared, and what is common between p squared and pq, you take out the p, open bracket. You're going to say negative p squared divided by negative p plus pq divided by negative p, close bracket. So put back 2, open bracket. 2p divided by 2, the 2 cancel off, remain with p by minus sign. 2q divided by 2, the 2 cancel off, remain with q, close bracket. Put your minus p, open bracket. Negative p squared divided by negative p, the negative sign cancel off, p squared divided by p is just p. Pq divided by negative p, the p cancel off, remain with negative q, close bracket. So now we can clearly see that p minus q is common, so I wrote that in brackets and I put the remaining term in the other bracket, which is the 2 and the minus p. And that is our answer there. So you guys understood this recap of factorization by grouping, right? Um, so these are some questions to try. So try these. Question 1, you have am plus an plus bm plus bn. Question 2, you have ax minus bx plus ay minus by. Question 3, you have 4b minus 12c plus ab minus 3ac. So you could go ahead and try these questions. Let me know when they're done. We'll correct them together. So for the first one here, you have four terms, right? This is one, the second, there's the third, and this is the fourth term. When you have four terms, you factorize via grouping, so you need to group them. So what is common between AM and AN? Well, the letter A, open bracket. AM divided by A will give you M. For your plus sign, AN divided by A will give you N. Notice I'm not doing the whole division thing in the bracket again, because at this stage you should be able to do that mentally, right? Between BM and BN, you're taking out B, open bracket. You're saying in your head, BM divided by B. Well, the B will cancel off, agree with M for your plus sign. BN divided by B. Well, the B will cancel off, agree with N, close my bracket. So I'm going to get M plus N, and in the next bracket, I'm going to get A plus B. Very good. Now, number 2, again, you have four terms, so you're grouping them like how I do in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, so you group them. Between ax and negative bx, the x is common, open bracket. Ax divided by x is a, for your minus sign. Bx divided by x, the x cancels off, you remain with the b. For your plus sign, what is common between ay and negative by? Well, the y is common, open bracket. Ay divided by y, the y cancels off, you remain with a. The minus sign, by divided by y, the y cancels off, you remain with b. And you can say a minus b. So that's a good question, right? So we have a minus b common, so we take out that and we put in the x plus y here. Now the order don't really matter because this could be the same thing as a plus b times m plus n, and this could be the same thing as x plus y times a minus b. This is also correct. Reason being is if you have 2 multiplied by 3, you're going to get 6. That's the same thing as 3 multiplied by 2, which is 6. If you have 4 multiplied by 2, you'll get 8, but it's the same thing as 2 multiplied by 4, which is 8. So the order in which you write these terms, because you're multiplying them, right? You don't have addition or minus and between the brackets. So you're multiplying these two terms here. So it don't really matter the order in which you write it. It will be correct still. But you must have the exact same terms in the bracket, right? With the same sign and everything. But it doesn't matter which one you put first. So number 3, you group it again because you have 4 terms. So between 4b and negative 12c, well, the highest common factor between 4 and 12 is 4 because 4 could go into 4 and 4 could go into 12. Nothing is common between the letters b and c, so you open your bracket. You say 4b divided by 4 is b, put your minus sign. 12c divided by 4 is 3c, close your bracket. What is common between a, b, and negative 3ac, you take out the a, open bracket. ab divided by a is b, put your minus sign. 3ac divided by a is 3c, and you're going to take out the b minus 3c now. And you're going to remain with 4 plus a in the next bracket. And that is basically factorization by grouping. You all understand this, right? Right. So now we're going on to difference of 2 square, as promised. So this is really term 3 work here now. So we might just be able to start it today. So difference of 2 squares. Now, before we go on to that, you need to know what is a squared term or a perfect square. So a perfect square is a number in which its square root is a whole number. So a perfect square is a number in which its square root is a whole number. For example, I'll put that here. For example, 9. 9 is a perfect square because the square root of 9 is a whole number. The square root of 9 is 3. So if you find the square root of 9, you're going to get 3, which is a whole number. 25 is a perfect square. A perfect square. Because the square root of 25 is 5. 16 is a perfect square because the square root of 16 is a whole number, which is 4. Using this concept over here now, you can find the square root of variables. So if you have x squared, the square root of x squared will simply be x. You just remove, because that is the opposite of squaring something. And if I need square root of it, that is the opposite of squaring it. Right? So if you have y squared, the square root of y squared would simply be y. So if you have the square root of 16 x squared, you basically have to square the 16, you will get 4. You have to find the square root of 16, which is 4. Then you have to find the square root of x squared, which is x. So the square root of 16x squared is actually 4x. Now look at this. If you square x, you will get back x squared, which is what we had here on this side. So if you square y, meaning raising y to the power of 2, you're going to get back y squared. If you have 4x in brackets raised to the power of 2, you have to raise each term inside it to the power of 2, 4 to the power of 2, and x to the power of 2. 4 to the power of 2 is 4 by 4, which is 16, and x to the power of 2 is x by x, which is x squared. So we get back the 16x squared. You all understand the concept here of a perfect square and square terms. So we're going to apply this knowledge here to find the difference between two squares. Right? So I'm gonna put that here. So the difference between two square terms. So difference between two squares. We have a general formula. So whenever you have to find the difference between two squares and to factorize that, we have a general formula for that. So the formula is as follows. When an expression is written in the form a squared minus b squared, then it can be easily factorized into a minus b times a plus b, right? So this is the general formula. Let's say you have a squared minus b squared, and you have to factorize this. You have one term squared minus another term squared. Hence, it's called the difference between two squared terms. The answer will simply be the first term, which is a. You could put plus the second term, which is b, times the first term, which is a, minus the second term, which is b. Now this here is the same thing as a minus b times a plus b, because I told you the order don't really matter, right? Hence, I'm showing you this one time in the example. I could have put a minus b in bracket times a plus b, but you would have think that is fixed. That is how it's supposed to be. But it doesn't matter which one you put first, because this will also be correct. So we will stick to this formula. So like if you have x squared minus y squared, once you have two terms squared and a minus sign between the two terms, this is the difference of two squared. The formula will be you have to write the first term, which is x, plus the second term, which is y, forget the squared power for now, close bracket, times the first term, which is x, minus the second term, which is y, close bracket. And that is our answer there. This is known as the difference of two squared. So we're going to apply that formula there now to some questions. So exercise. If I didn't get the notes, that's okay. So example 1, you have 25 minus a squared. Now 25 is a perfect square. You can write that as square root of 25 is 5. So you can write that as 5 squared, because 5 squared is the same thing as 25 minus a squared. You need to write it in the difference of two square form, such as like on this side here, before you could factorize difference of two square, right? So you see now that you have one term squared minus another term squared. Applying the formula, it will be the first term, which is 5, plus the second term, which is a, in brackets, times the first term, which is 5, minus the second term, which is a. That's how you factorize the difference of two squared. Exercise 2. Let's say you have a to the power 4 minus 9. The square root of a to the 4 will simply be a to the power of 2. If you find the square root of a to the 4. But you need to get back a to the power of 4, so you just have to square this. A squared in brackets raised to the power of 2 is the same thing as a to the power of 4, right? Put your minus sign. The square root of 9 is 3, so you have to put the 3 in brackets and you're putting it to the power of 2. Because you're just rewriting the given expression in a different form, in the difference of 2 square form, right? So this is what I have on the right hand side, a squared in brackets raised to the power of 2 minus in brackets 3 to the power of 2. That's the same thing as a to the 4 minus 9. I just wrote it in a different form so that you can see that's the difference between two squared terms. So when you factorize this, the first term in the bracket is a squared plus the second term in the bracket is 3 close bracket. The first term in the bracket is a squared minus the second term in the bracket is 3. And that is how you factorize difference of 2 squared. One more example. Let's say you have, 100 minus t squared. This can be written as the square root of 100 is 10. So this will be 10 squared minus t squared. So this will be the first term, which is 10, plus the second term, which is t, times the first term, which is 10, minus the second term, which is t. And that's how you factorize difference of 2 squared. One more. So let's say you have y squared minus 25. So y is already written as a square term as y squared. For your minus sign, 25 can be written as a square term. The square root of 25 is 5. So if you square the 5, you'll get back the 25. So I just rewrite it in a different form. So when you factorize this, it will be the first term, which is y, plus the second term, which is 5. Open bracket, the first term, which is y, minus the second term, which is 5. And that's how you factorize the difference of 2 squared. You need to write it in the difference of 2 square form first and then factorize it using the formula. So you all understand the solution here, right?